We've got a new congressional report, drama here. It says, you remember that massive data breach at Equifax? It could have been prevented. Our next guest says Congress is right. It could have been prevented. Here now, Bill Karpovich. He's the president of Sonatype. Welcome back, Bill. Good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good to be here.
So, can you, for laymen, can you lay out what was the fault that was not corrected? What was it?
Right. In short, there was a piece of software that was out of date, and they didn't realize it. And that software had a vulnerability in it which allowed the door to be open. And then that resulted in everything that we know happened.
Just a simple thing like that?
Yes.
A small item, dated software in the big mix.
That's right.
And they got into it.
Yes, that's right. Now, these systems are very complicated. So it's easy to say, oh, just that one little thing, right? It's a big, complicated piece. But there are really core measures that you can take to make sure the doors aren't open.
You can do that. I mean,
of course you can. That's why there's been so much outrage about this over the course of the last 14 months, really 18 months, right? And this report just really reflects what has been known in the industry for a long period of time, which is this was preventable, and not only at a technology level, but just the way the organization was structured and the way that they thought about security. It just wasn't an environment that was going to breed good practices. And the reality is, though, that Equifax isn't alone, right? And over the last 18 months, they've made massive changes because they recognize what needs to happen.
They corrected the fault.
Oh,
but
yeah, absolutely.
Did they delay in telling the world what had happened because they didn't want the hackers to exploit that same fault in their system with other companies? So their delay in telling the world is explainable and is okay?
Well, I think there was a series of just like a plane crash or one of these tragedies. There's always a whole sequence of problems, and everything from the door being open at the front end to how it was handled, we could critique it along the way. And to your point, it resulted in a delay. And then when they put out a way to help consumers, that didn't quite work out. So there were a number of problems. But let me tell you, this is an industry problem, right? What we have learned, what our researchers have found, is that the same library that allowed the criminals to get into Equifax is now on the rise as far as downloads. In the last 2 months, we've seen more downloads. And that just reflects that overall, we're not thinking about security as a primary objective. And we have to figure out how we're going to create an accountability model, something so that when we go and build systems, we're designing security in from the front.
An accountability model. Yeah, that will be good.
Yes.
Bill, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I'm sure you'll be back to explain this kind of thing in the future.
Thank you.
Bill.
Pleasure to be here.